Hello and welcome to another guitar channel. As you maybe already know if you're watching it not for the first time, this channel is for all the gear freaks. So probably we cannot play on the instrument, but we like to change everything. And today I would like to shortly tell you about the thing that I recently found out, and I think it was a little bit forgotten, and actually it was a little bit treated like an orphan or a bastard, you know, in a family. Well, what I want to say actually. All the guitarists are changing pickups, are changing strings, are thinking about the woods in the guitar, fingerboard made of rosewood, made of maple, you know, polyurethane, nitrocellulose finishing, oil finishing, cables, amplifiers, effects. And in all these ways of looking for the sound, the most important thing and the most forgotten thing is the guitar speaker. And I found out that even me, who is a guitar freak for like last 20-15 years at least, I was never thinking about the guitar speaker as the main aspect of the sound. And recently I said to myself, well, you were making a mistake, Mr. Xantip, and actually you need to reconsider what you think. And actually you need to change your speakers. So when I had all these phases of changing pickups in my guitars, which I still like to do, and actually I still recommend you to do, and you know, the first part, of course the hand is the most important, but if you cannot play the instrument it's not important. It's, you know, it's in your head that you're changing all the gears and it's making you playing better, but that's not the point. I said to myself, it's time for you to change the speakers in your cabinets. And I started with the cabinet which I made with my friend Artur Dogil from Dogil Guitars. It was like a line 6 combo which I put Celestion V30 inside, and I put Celestion G12T75, and actually when I put all those two speakers and I started playing on it, I was like, wow, the sound completely changed. The amplifier works differently, you know, it records differently. So I was thinking, like I said, it's time to change the speakers in all my cheap cabinets, because I got some expensive cabinets and I got some cheap cabinets, and in those expensive ones there is already good speakers. I got Randall with what is Celestion 100 something, I don't remember. I got V30 there. I got Marshall with G12T75. Recently I bought EVH cabinet, and actually, you know, they all play good. But as well, because it's not only expensive stuff which is good, and of course you can always go more expensive. I don't know, Zilla, matchlesses, you know, Matamps. I got one Matamp, I'm sitting on it. With all these expensive speakers, there is as well the way of, you know, promoting the guitar with buying cheap stuff and converting it into something better with time. So I got two cabinets here. One is made by Lani. It's from Lani Hardcore series, and one is MG by Marshall. In that one I was already tweaking it out a little bit, so I've changed one of those speakers into Hot 100. Originally there was like Rocket 50s. In that one there's Marshall MG speakers, and I've decided to make an experiment. I've decided to change them all. And when we talk about those Celestions, Rocket 50, Hot 100, 7080, they are still good speakers. They are cheap speakers. You can buy them on eBay used for 20-25 quid. And if you have some kind of no-name speaker in your cabinet. I don't know, like I have this PV here, which is, I cannot even open it to change the speakers in it, and there's some kind of speakers called UK voiced PV. Blue Marvel, yes, but what the hell is that? So actually, when you're thinking of changing speakers and starting this trip, you can start with looking for those kind of speakers, and you will see already the changes in the sound. But I decided that I will take them all out and I put something new, something different in it. So in this cabinet here, I'm gonna put 4 different speakers and see how it works, and see how it is when I play with 4 different speakers. I will try to record it with 2 or 1 condenser mic, so they will like work all together and the sound will come all together. So it's gonna be my experimental cabinet. What I'm gonna put here is the all celestions, vintage 30. Then the second one is going to be another classic, G12 T75, very good speaker. This is my favorite speaker ever, I think. And then it's going to be another one-liner, G12 H100, old speaker. I don't think it's made still by Celestion. And then very new speaker, which is V-type, it's called 70 watts V-type, which is quite a variation of vintage 30. So this cabinet is going to be some kind of experimental, and this cabinet here is going to be in a way, I mean, it's going to be like split into two ways, and there will be G12 T75 with Eminence and G12 75 with Rocket, not with Rocket, with 7080. So one of the sides will be a little bit cheaper, one of the sides will be a little bit more expensive sound, richer. Actually, what you need to think about when you're changing the speakers and when you're considering this thing is just the impedance or resistance. I don't know. All the electronic fuckers, just give me some comments. Is it resistance? But anyway, you need to check how many ohms you have. So when you're connecting them, you need to calculate them well, and actually, you cannot. You can, but actually it's recommended that you're using the same kind of ohmage. Ohmage is the word in English. So when you got 8 ohms, then you connect it with 8 ohms. If you connect them in parallel, you get 4 ohms. If you connect them in serial connection, you got 16 ohms. So when you got 2 16 ohms and two 8 connected in series, then you can connect them both in 2 pairs in parallel, and then you got like 8 ohms. This is all physics from the primary school. I don't know, Polish communism. When I was in Poland in communism, when I was going to school, they were teaching us things like that. I'm hoping all over the world they're teaching the things like that, and it's not like, they're making us only melted with shit in schools, and there is some kind of knowledge given to everybody in the world. But if not, just go for serious and parallel connections on internet, Google it, and you will find it. And this is actually the most important thing you need to think about. I'm not sure how it is with the power of the speaker. So if you connect like speaker, which is one of them is 30 watts and the other one is 70 watts, I don't know if they go all together like 100 or 30 or 50 watts. I got no clue about it. I don't think so. I think they still work. I think they still work as they should work, or maybe the more powerful is going down to the less powerful. I'm not sure about that. So the same, I'm asking you in the comments to tell me how it is with the power. But what you really need to think about is the ohms of them. And actually that's what you need to think. Of course, the next step of it should be changing plywood like, you know, cheap plywood or MDF into Baltic birch or something. But that's another point. And of course, sizes of the cabinets and actually the way they are made, and actually, you know, Mesa Boogie is different with the same speaker, Mesa Boogie and Marshall will sound differently. That's another step. But what we're doing here is just talking about changing of the speakers. So like I said, I want you to comment, I want you to be involved in this topic, and I would like to hear from you what you think about it and how you see the topic. I'm not gonna play today. I'm just gonna take my screwdriver and just unscrew it. I'm not gonna show you how to do it, because with every single cabinet is going to be a little bit different, but it's really easy job to do it. So there's absolutely no rocket science when you're making it. Some of the speakers got clips, some of them you will need to solder, but it's all easy stuff. At the end of it, I would like to tell you, if you got cheap Marshalls MG or some different combos made by many companies, and they put some no-name speakers in it, just take it out, and instead of changing your pickup, which I would recommend you to do anyway, just swap the speaker, and you will see how good your combo or your cheap head for 80 pound, 100 pound, you know, Marshall MG50, how good can it be, for example. And maybe it's going to be a revolution, because it was a revolution for me. That was today's episode of another guitar channel. That's all, folks. Bye.